On today's primetime local news, how residents are celebrating a big Lloydminster milestone, and a Lloydminster store doubles in size. Plus, what's in store for this month's Bonnyville Oil and Gas Show?
Prime time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
Good evening, I'm Jace Mackey. We begin with big news for the border city. Lloydminster is the site for a new project that will bring hundreds of jobs to the community and boost the economy. Our Stacey Comer has more on plans for construction of a renewable diesel refinery.
I'm pleased to be joined today on Primetime Local News by Josh Gustafson. Josh is the president and CEO of Covenant Energy. Josh, we have such exciting news for Lloydminster because of a project you're working on. First of all, thanks for joining me. And secondly, tell me about this exciting project.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Thank you for having me. But yeah, no, we're excited to announce our project. We are advancing a 9,000 barrel a day renewable fuels facility coming to the city of Lloydminster. Long and short of it, we'll be taking renewable feedstocks such as canola oil and producing renewable diesel, Arctic grade renewable diesel, and sustainable aviation fuel.
So why Lloydminster?
You know, we looked at a lot of different factors when we were choosing our location, and a lot of it had to do with operating costs. And Lloydminster has excellent logistic capabilities, both on the rail side and on the trucking side. It has good location for available feedstocks. As an example, obviously ADM right in Lloydminster crushing the canola seed, which is the type of feedstock we'll be using. And then also obviously the labor force in Lloydminster was a big drawing card as well, knowing that there's very capable workforce up there in the oil and gas industry. All those factors combined made it a good choice for us to call Lloydminster home for this project.
So how many jobs will this create, first of all, at its inception in the construction phase, and then long-term permanent jobs?
Yeah, it's hard to say exactly how many jobs during construction, but in the multiple hundreds for sure. So obviously it's small in scale, compared to some of the big oil and gas infrastructure, like the upgrader just outside of Lloydminster. It's 9,000 barrels a day as opposed to 150,000, but it is a large scale project in the sense that there is a lot of infrastructure that needs to be in place. So it is going to be a heavy lift in terms of all of the workforce that's needed, which is something we're very excited about. Working with the local industry. The full-time jobs, we're looking at about 60 full-time jobs as of right now. We haven't even ran the numbers on the indirect job creation on logistics, rail movement, trucking, those types of things. These are all 60 full-time jobs directly related within our boundary limits, but we definitely think it's going to be a big boost for Lloydminster and area.
So where will you be building this facility, and how much is the targeted cost right now?
So our land that we purchased is on the northeast side of Lloydminster, just north of the tracks, east of the golf course. And we expect that the CapEx right now is sitting at about 920 million. Sounds a little bit crazy to say when it rolls off, just rolls off your tongue so easy, a cool 920 million. But we've gone up in cost a little bit just because we did upsize the project in the last year. Obviously with inflation a little bit, we had to take that into consideration. But all in all, our project scope looks very dialed in, and we're really excited to continue move forward.
When will we see construction start, and when do you expect everything to be up and running, Josh?
Yeah, in a perfect world, we're going to complete our engineering in 2024, which is what we are currently on pace to do, and looking at startup in 2026. It's about a 24 to 26 month build out. So it all depends on when we can complete that engineering and hit a positive final investment decision. But those are the current benchmarks right now.
So obviously, this is good news for the agriculture industry around here too. Do you think that there's going to be enough supply just in this area, or do you expect that this will be a project where you'll be taking feed from all of Saskatchewan?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's actually, I spend a lot of my time talking about the impact that, not only our project, but renewable fuels in general have on the ag sector. I actually come from an ag background myself and currently own and operate a 14,000 acre farm down here in the southeast with my brother. And so we see the impact that renewable fuels has on the canola industry. And we just think it's hard to even grasp how big it's going to be for the canola industry specifically. But we do expect to have a variety of options on the canola oil side. It's a little bit early to lock in just yet exactly how much and where it's going to all come from, but we do have discussions going with multiple different suppliers to keep our options open. And I'll just say that the discussions so far look very positive.
Well, Josh, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate it. And good luck with this project. Obviously, we'll be hearing from you a lot over the next few years. And thank you for choosing Lloydminster. It's just a great announcement for this community and for the province in general. So good luck with everything. And thanks again for speaking with us today.
Thanks so much for having me. It was my pleasure.
Lloydminster celebrates its 120th anniversary this week. Our Callan Dunlop tells us more on how some residents are marking the occasion.
Held at the Lloydminster Regional Archives, a celebration took place in honor of Lloyd's 120th birthday. The event sold out, with 160 people in attendance.
We bandied it around that maybe we should do something for the 120th anniversary. We had not heard that anyone else was doing anything, and it was kind of, we're all seniors, and we kind of thought, seniors would enjoy this.
The event had food, singing, and people prepared to showcase all of Lloydminster's history.
That it was actually two communities, Lloydminster, the town of Lloydminster, Saskatchewan, and the village of Lloydminster, Alberta, was an interesting fact too, and that they didn't come together till after the $1 Million Fire. I think it's important to keep in mind where we came from. I think we have to be in the present and move forward, but always kind of have an eye in the past and where we came from and the direction that we want to go. So I think it's important to remember the past.
Callan Dunlop, Primetime, Local News.
The local clothing store Sheepskin Loft has expanded their footprint here in the border city.
We're so proud to announce our grand reopening. This building that we've been here for 13 years, and we just took 4 months to redo it all, and so we've expanded. We're double the size now, and really proud of the way it turned out.
Owner Colleen Baker has been selling sheepskin products in the Lloydminster area since the 90s. Her business has consistently grown, and the store's existing location at 4305 57th Avenue has expanded to a neighboring store, doubling the size and allowing the team to offer even more sheepskin products.
It's so nice to be able to bring in a few new lines. We really pride ourselves on getting Canadian-made products. So we have a large selection of slippers, for sure. That's kind of our number one thing that people come to us for. Pajamas and robes. We have a large selection of all kinds of different kinds of sock. We have a new sock wall. We've got like a new space for all our winter wear as well, just kind of like a seasonal spot for our winter stuff. So we'll always carry that.
Baker thanks the Lloydminster community for their support to make this expansion a reality. The Canadian Professional Chuckwagon Association season will begin this weekend in Meadow Lake. With more, here's Thomas Wildman.
Today we are joined by the Vice President of the CPCA, Greg Buchanan, and he is here today to talk to us about the opening weekend for the CPCA season, which will be taking place at Meadow Lake this coming up weekend. And so thank you so much for being with me today, Greg.
Thanks for having me, Thomas.
All right, Greg, so for that first race that will be taking place this Friday for most of the drivers, what are they going to be looking to do in that first race after the long off season?
All depending who's on that track. There's a few drivers from the CPCA that, as a permit system in the WPCA, raced in Grand Prairie Stampede this past weekend. So some of them already tested out their horses in front of the live grandstand, in front of other drivers, while others have been doing a lot of spring training. That spring training can include racing on the track, truck training, or else an equisizer that some do have. So it is I'm almost like a preseason in baseball, hockey, or football. So it's a feeling out process between the driver, the horses, and of course the outriders as well.
And so, Greg, with some of those drivers being in that WPCA race and also just with that off season, kind of what are they looking to do when going into Meadow Lake this coming weekend?
You know what? The first 3 days kind of sets the tone for the next month in the month of June for a lot of these drivers. So you don't want to leave points on the table, as they say, because all of a sudden you're at the CPCA finals, you're looking to crack the top 4, you're looking to crack the top 10, top 15, top 20, and you end up being a little bit further back because of a bad day in Meadow Lake. So you don't want to leave points, just like any other sport. You don't want to leave points on the table, whether you're playing in the NHL and you lose about 4 or 5 of your first 82 games. Those 4 or 5 losses at the end of the season could be the difference between making the playoffs and not making the playoffs. Just ask the Florida Panthers.
And finally, the important significance that this Meadow Lake race will have for some of the drivers and Meadow Lake itself.
There's a little emotion for guys like Logan, like DJ King, and many of the Meadow Lake drivers, because this will be the final trip on that track. That track goes out in place of a new arena in Meadow Lake. So a lot of history with Meadow Lake, celebrating their 100th anniversary of the Meadow Lake Stampede. So it's going to be a lot of emotion for a lot of Meadow Lake guys, and you'll see if that emotion it generates into some solid runs and a possible show win for someone that calls Meadow Lake home.
Thank you so much for all the information, Greg, and we will definitely be checking back in with you throughout the CPCA season.
Thanks, Thomas.
And now it's time for us to check in once again with Shelby Clark for another look at weather.
Thank you so much again there, Mr. Jason Mackey. Yes, now taking an extended look at your weather forecast. We will be starting off with our central zone of the provinces. On the Alberta side, we have been seeing some quite warm temperatures warming up as we've been going on through the week. Most spots are just seeing, between like 28 to 29 degrees. This seems like the most popular temperature with Edmonton, Red Deer, and Rocky Mountain House. Then we have a couple that are just slightly cooler by a few degrees, with 26 in Edson, 25 in Whitecourt, and Athabasca just sitting at 23, while meanwhile over in Cold Lake just at 24, and that Jasper is the only one just past that 30-degree mark at 31. So that heat warning has spread and continued on throughout most of these areas on our Alberta side for sure, especially in Jasper. Going over to our Saskatchewan side now, they are matching with us with those temperatures on our Alberta side. Meadow Lake is matching with Cold Lake just at 24 degrees, and then we have 28 in most spots on this side, and over in Melfort at 30 degrees. So that heat warning is spread across to that Saskatchewan side. That's continuing on throughout the week. So we got some scorchers going on. Hopefully everybody's staying safe out there and also enjoying it. Going over to our northern zone now, they have cooled down quite a bit. They were warmed up from what they have been seeing yesterday. Uranium City was probably sitting at the coolest temperature yesterday, around that 19, 20 degree mark. And they have cooled down once again, now just sitting at 16 in those mid-teen range. We have 18 down in Stony Rapids, and then now it's 20 degrees in most of these spots. And we're looking at 21 and 25 with South End and over in Flin Flon. So we have cooled down slightly in these areas on our Saskatchewan side here in our northern zone, as they were seeing some scorchers yesterday, but now they have kind of cooled down and they're kind of evening out. Going back over to our Alberta side here in our northern zone, they have cooled down slightly in some of these areas, especially with Fort Chipewyan, Fort McMurray, and High Level, now just at 20 and 21. And we go a bit lower now to these 3 spots, and they are still seeing some pretty warm temperatures. 25 in Slave Lake, while it's 27 in both Peace River and Grand Prairie, so they're just a few degrees off from that 30-degree mark. But now going over to our southern zone, they are matching with us more in our central area, as they are, for the most part, just seeing these spots with temperatures just underneath that 30-degree mark. 29 in Calgary, as they are looking at the warmest condition on this side. 28 in both Lethbridge and Medicine Hat. Then we are seeing 27 in Coronation and 26 over in Banff. So, of course, we have that heat warning continuing on in our southern zone as well on our Alberta side. Going over to our Saskatchewan side, they are also seeing some nice warm temperatures for today. Yorkton is looking at the coolest temperature. They're just at 21, and the rest are warmer just by 5 degrees, a little bit more. 27 for both Swift Current and Regina, while Moose Jaw and Estevan are just a couple degrees under that 30-degree mark. And then Kindersley seems to be like the only spot in our southern area that we have been looking at that 30-degree mark exactly. So we do have that heat warning. Please make sure you are drinking lots of water, using that sunscreen, and definitely going inside when needed and finding shade when needed, because safety is top priority. Now, as you look at some overnight evening lows on this list in our surrounding areas expected for tonight as we head into our Friday, a low of 10 expected from Meadow Lake, while it is a low of 12 for Paradise Hill, a low of 13 Provost and Bonnyville will be expecting tonight, and Isle Cross will be expecting a low of 14 degrees. So we will be seeing those double digits once again for our evening low temperatures, and we are expecting quite a warm night for most of these spots as well. So please make sure you got your AC if you have it, make sure you have it going, and we aren't going to be seeing too high chances of precipitation or any storm conditions in these areas as well, so it will be a clear and mild night for most of these spots. Looking at our hourly forecast for our Friday here in the border cities, we start off the weekend. We are seeing a beautiful day for tomorrow, starting off around 17 degrees right off in the morning. And then for our afternoon, we will be warming up to around 24, 26 degrees. And that will continue on for our daytime high as we hit around 26 to 27. We won't be cooling down by too much, because as we go past our Friday into our Saturday, looking at 28. So we will even warm up more during the weekend. So we have some scorchers ahead. Please make sure you are, like I say, safety is top priority. Make sure you're taking care of yourself. Hopefully we will be seeing that precipitation, 70% chance on Sunday to end off the weekend, and then we will be seeing a lot of scorchers next week for Monday and Tuesday, and then finally cooling down next Wednesday and Thursday. And that's all I have for now. Our Jace Mackey will have our news coming up after the break.
I'm very excited to be welcoming Serena Parsons back here on Primetime Local News. She is the Executive Director of the Bonnyville and District Chamber of Commerce. Now, the Bonnyville and District Oil and Gas Show is just over a week or so away. It's going to be taking place on June 21st and the 22nd, 2 days of action-packed stuff going on up in Bonnyville. Serena, how are preparations going for the show?
We're busy. It's been crazy because there's so much on the back end, right? From the show program to making sure all the booths are filled, the schedule. So we've been very busy, but it is coming together so nicely. The community have really rallied to make sure that this is going to be an incredible event. We are sold out of booths inside. There are still some booths remaining outside if there is an exhibitor that would like to join. The outdoor booths are a little more affordable, and you still have access to the Oilman's Room, which you and I will talk more about.
For sure. Now, you heard it out there for people who are interested still. Those outdoor booths are available. I'll give you a chance now to kind of go through a little bit about what is going on. I know it's a 2-day event, but there's so much happening in those 2 days.
It is. It's really like several events all in one. So we start off on the 20th. All the exhibitors will arrive and they'll start set up. And then that evening, we'll be hosting the Bonnyville Oil and Gas Show opening ceremonies, where we are really pleased to have Pathways Alliance as the sponsor. Their president, Kendall Dilling, will be speaking about the potential carbon capture facility that will be built right here in our backyard in the Lakeland. So right now, there really is... we're coming out of a long recession when it comes to the oil field. We're coming out of that. We're getting on the other side of that now. There are new projects on the horizon. We're post a pandemic. There's just a lot. So there's a lot of excitement about getting everybody together again, really making those connections, growing the industry in our region again, because we are a really important region to the oil and gas industry. And so we're really happy to be bringing everybody together for that opening ceremonies. We also have the 2023 Juno Award winners, the Bearhead Sisters, who will be performing, because the next day, of course, is National Indigenous Peoples Day, and we want to recognize that as well. So we're really happy to have them come and join us. And then we'll have a fun casino and, just some drinks and some appies, and it'll be a fun night. That is open to the public. So if anyone is wondering what's going on, or they want to network, or they want to hear, straight from the horse's mouth what's happening in the region, come. join. You can register at BonnevilleOilAndGasShow.com, and it's just $40 to attend that event. Cash bar, appies included, and we're really, really happy to see that come together and come to fruition. And then the show itself takes place on the 21st and 22nd. So we'll have over 100 exhibitors ish there at that time. And then, so that's open to the public as well. You can register to attend for free a couple of days beforehand, or you can pay $20 at the door, and 100% of those proceeds go to Stars Air Ambulance.
That's awesome. You we're just going through the list of everything. There's so much going on, and a lot for different people too. It's not all geared towards one kind of demographic. And this is also the first year that the show is going to be taking place since 2019. So it's exciting to have such a big event going on in Bonnyville.
It is. And you know what? We say that we're the premier networking event in the region or in Alberta for the oil and gas, because we have something that's unique to our show, and that's called the Oilman's Room. It's exclusive to exhibitors only, and we have representatives from 5 of the main producer companies. So we've got Strathcona Resources, Imperial Oil, Cenovus Energy, Inter Pipeline, and Canadian Natural. They will all be there. And so it's a chance to get in. We know there is no substitute for a handshake and a smile when it comes to making connections, and we're providing that opportunity. So every exhibitor gets 5 minutes with these procurement professionals from the producer or owner companies, and to say, hey, how do I make a bid? This is my company. This is what I do. This is what I provide, and give them your elevator pitch and really make an impression. So that's unique. That's only happening on June 21st, the first day of the show. And then on the second day of the show, to entice more of the public to come in, we will, sponsored by the Brick Bonnyville, we have a big screen TV that we'll be doing a draw for. And there's going to be various draws from the opening ceremonies and prizes and all kinds of fun stuff. So, it's going to be a busy few days, but really excited to ignite the spark again for our region, for what our region can do, for our local businesses, and for the economic development of the entire Lakeland.
Yeah, it seems like there's going to be a big impact from this beyond just the oil and gas industry, but on the region as a whole. Are you still looking for maybe volunteers or any support from people locally?
Absolutely. If you're interested in volunteering, we do pay a small stipend to go to a charity of your choice. So you can email admin@bonnyvillechamber.com. Just contact us anywhere. We'll get you in touch, and you can register to be a volunteer.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Serena, for taking some time to talk with us today. Still some time for people to plan taking part in it or volunteering or whatever. So make sure you get on it, because it's going to be a busy event. And thanks again for your time.
Thanks so much, Jace.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery, downtown Lloydminster.
Joining us today for Primetime Local News is Jerry Duham and Cliff Wist with the Just Cruising Club here in Lloydminster. So thank you both so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having us. It's great to be here.
Yeah, great. Really happy to have you on here, because we are speaking on the Show and Shine 2023.
Absolutely. It's our 15th Show and Shine for Lloydminster area. And we've got an action-packed weekend planned for people. The Saturday, Father's Day weekend at the Multiplex. Great support from the local sponsors. Great, we've had like tent guys come forward, helping us supply tents, and other people who've just been really good to sponsor us. So lots of activities going on.
No, and I was actually just going to ask what the annual year was for this now, but you already answered it. So that's really great to know how long it's been going on and seeing that strong community support. How was last year's, you'd say?
Last year was very good as well, but we're hoping it's quite a bit better this year. We've got some more activities coming. We have 2 rails coming from Vegreville. One is an alcohol car, 6 seconds in the quarter mile, over 220 miles an hour. And then he has another rail that he's bringing as well, just a normal one, but it's still a under 10-second car. So that's going to be exciting to see.
That's going to be really cool. And I guess, like, for getting a bit into it for this year, what could you say that residents can expect, I guess, besides what you already kind of brought up?
Well, like Cliff said, those dragsters are going to start up, so there's going to be a lot of thunder there. But we have kids programs, which Cliff will talk about in a few minutes. We have good support from the community with the rescue squad showing up with all their gear. Britannia Fire Department is going to show up with their ladder truck. We've got food trucks, and we actually have a pinstriper coming from Saskatoon. He's setting up some stuff now. He's actually doing one of our award prizes for us, which will be given by our president to his choice. So yeah, we have 21 awards for the day, including top 10, Participants' Choice, People's Choice, and some very specialized awards that are being given by businesses of some of our members who have now passed on.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's
so it's pretty
beautiful.
cool.
No, that's
Then
very
we have the
beautiful.
kids activities sponsored
Yes.
by Schiller and Associates. What that is a make and take. You'll come into the tent, big brothers, big sisters will help you put a toy together, and then you get to take the toy home free of charge. We also have the Matchbox race, which is put on by Can-Do Auto. What you do is you'll pick out a car and you'll race against somebody else down a special track, and then you race until you win. So if you don't win the first race, you pick up another car, you race down again, you do it again until you win, then you get to take that car home. So that's kind of exciting for the kids.
No, it's really great. We were saying this kind of before, how much is all involved for this year's event and whatnot. Seeing you have so much sponsors and everything, kind of bringing all the organizations and businesses in the community. I think that's really awesome. How nice does it feel to know you got this strong support so far for this upcoming
Oh,
event?
it's terrific. You know, and we tend to try to support the community with any excess funds that we have by giving back to the community, sort of creating a bit of a name for ourselves that way. We like doing that. I think our club members love doing that. You know, we've got the community involved. We've got big brothers and big sisters helping with the make and take, as Cliff said, and giving them a donation for doing that. We've got a contact just yesterday from one of our members saying that there's a couple of students that need to fill in some of their community time. I said, bring them on. We'll find a little job for them to get them going. We have the mayor pick a vehicle. We call it the mayor's pick. We make him a special trophy. So he gets to go around and pick a special trophy. And in his words, I remember one of the shows, he said, you know what? This isn't just a car show anymore. It's an event for Lloydminster. It's something big that's happening in Lloydminster. So we're pretty proud of that it's not just a car show, it's a big event for Lloydminster. And of course this year, with RibFest being right beside us, and their activities, we got food tents and charity barbecues and the mini donut guy, but they got ribs, so it's right beside us, so no shortage of food.
Father's Day weekend is always a great time here.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And registration is 10 to noon, and we don't get our cars judged. We bring our cars to the show, but we're not judged. So all the participants come in, they're the ones who get all the trophies. None of our car members get it. We bring them to the show so people can see them, but we're not judged in the show, which is kind of nice as well. And there's no entry fee for anybody to come in and participate.
Oh, no, this sounds like it's going to be a great event for this year, and already hearing about how strong that support is and how nice it feels. So you kind of expecting to see that same response than what you've had in previous years?
Oh, I hope so. We hope for a good crowd. We hope for, our goal has always been 200 guest cars, and then plus our cars, which makes it a show. It could be anywhere up to 250 cars or vehicles. And it's not restricted to cars. We're open to anything. Basically, we say anything that rolls and moves and has a motor is acceptable. One time we had a snowplane show up to show. So it's open to any class. I think our goal is to get those vehicles that are in garages, under tarps, that people don't drive much, bring them out, show them to the people. I mean, the younger generation doesn't know the fins and the chrome that we used to know years ago. So it's kind of fun. We like that part of it.
No, that's really awesome. Now let's get a little bit into, I guess, the information on where exactly it is, what time and whatnot, just so we can help get the word out there.
It's at the Service Multiplex Center at the south end of town. Registration is from 9, or I guess it starts at 9 o'clock till noon. The show is from 10 to 4. But that's when we'll do the presentations. But again, it's at the Service Sports Center on the south end of town.
Perfect, 'cause I know we really wanted to get that out there. They're not being on the poster, but that's okay. That's okay. Now we know where it is, and especially if they know where RibFest is, then they can easily find you.
Absolutely. We're stepping it up a little bit this year with some electronic activity. We've hired Maz Entertainment, and he's got this massive big screen. And our intent is that when the winner is announced for the prize, that we have a picture of him and his car in the background. Because we've gone to many, many car shows over the years. And when they do the awards, you hear the name. They don't tell you what the car is. Nobody knows the guy. And you wonder, which one was that? Where was he parked? No, we're going to make it easy. We're going to show people that, you know, we can bring it to the next step. And this is something that's never been done in any other car show. So we hope it all works out. It's a new experience for us too. So.
Yeah, I think there's a lot going on, so it's really nice to see that you've already made like a lot changes, I guess, for this you know, upcoming event. Do you think you kind of have a plan already for next year's, from just the idea of what you're getting so far for this year's?
Well, I think we tried and like to bring some important people here who are relatively in the car industry. So
Yeah.
that's what we're hoping to get some celebrity, maybe one celebrity here for next year. We're working on that.
All right.
As soon as this year's over, we start planning for next year. So we'll see how it goes.
Awesome. Well, I think it's going to be an amazing event. It already sounds like it's so much is going on. I think a lot of people are going to be excited for this. And you were saying, you know, it's not just a car show anymore. Like, this is a huge event now in the border city that a lot of people get excited for.
Yes.
So it sounds like it's going to be great. Is there anything else you want to add, either of
Well,
you, that I may have missed out on?
Two things we want is more cars. So bring out those cars from wherever you are, Saskatoon, Regina, Calgary. If you've got a grandpa or grandma or a relative who's got a car in some other town, we get calls like that all the time. Bring them out, have some fun, take a drive, and bring out the family and have some fun.
And weather. Got to have some good weather.
Good weather.
Nice hot
Exactly.
weather.
That's your job.
Yes.
Bring us good
I'll
weather.
try.
Atta girl.
I'll pray and hope for the best for this
Great.
event, just for
Fantastic.
you guys. But okay, that's awesome. Thank you both so much again for joining us in studio today, and I think it's going to be a great event.
Thank you
Thanks for
inviting
having us.
Yes.
Yes.
Pleasure.
And that's our edition of Primetime Local News on this Thursday night. Thank you so much all for joining us. We'll be back here again tomorrow.